Imagine celebrating this massive spike in your organic traffic, right?
Yeah.
You're high-fiving the team, you're putting it in the quarterly report, and then months later, you realize it was actually your $50,000 paid ad campaign.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Right. Just mislabeled by like a single typo. So you thought you went viral, but, well, you actually just bought the traffic.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is a terrifying realization.
It really is
Yeah.
because, in Google Analytics 4, dashboards lie. I mean, they present these incredibly clean, comforting bar charts that make it look like web attribution is this objective science, like accounting or something.
Right. But it's really not.
No, it's not. Under the surface, it is a highly subjective landscape, just full of hidden traps, and today we are going to figure out exactly why. So, welcome to Fix the Funnel with GA Fix. I'm thrilled to officially announce this is episode number 28, and we are tackling something that haunts marketers, founders, and analysts everywhere.
Definitely haunts them.
Yeah, we're diving into the often misunderstood world of organic social traffic in GA4.
It causes, honestly, a staggering amount of unnecessary panic. Because you look at your GA4 dashboard and your social traffic numbers, well, they just don't match reality.
Right, like they're completely off.
Exactly. You know your campaigns are firing, right? You see the engagement on your feeds, you know people are sharing your links, but the dashboard looks like an absolute ghost town.
It's so frustrating for people. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack exactly how GA4 categorizes and, more importantly, miscategorizes social traffic.
Right.
We are going to figure out why your data might be hiding in plain sight in like totally wrong buckets and how you can permanently fix it.
Yeah, because fixing the funnel always starts with making sure you're actually looking at the real funnel.
Yeah.
Not some distorted funhouse mirror reflection of it.
Exactly. So let's start at the very foundation, because most people just assume that, hey, if a click originates from a social media app and you didn't pay for it, GA4 automatically logs it as organic social. But what is actually happening under the hood there?
Well, the assumption makes logical sense. I mean, of course it does. But GA4 doesn't operate on logic or, vibes.
Right, it doesn't care about our feelings.
Exactly. It operates on a very rigid, hard-coded rulebook. So GA4 defines organic social as the default channel that captures unpaid traffic coming exclusively from recognized social platforms.
Recognize. That's the key word there, right?
Yes, the operative word is absolutely recognized. Under the hood, GA4 relies on an internal list of specific domain names. Google controls this list, they maintain it, and they update it entirely on their own timeline, silently, without, notifying anyone in the industry.
Wow. Okay, let's unpack this, because imagine GA4 is like a strict nightclub bouncer, right? You walk up to the velvet rope and you say, hey, I'm social traffic, let me in.
Yeah, I love that analogy.
Right. But the bouncer has this very specific VIP clipboard. You can't just tell the bouncer you belong inside because you are a new, trendy social app and you feel social enough.
No, the bouncer doesn't care.
If your exact domain name isn't written on that clipboard in the bouncer's hand, you just get rejected.
That analogy perfectly captures the mechanism at play. If the domain doesn't perfectly string match the internal list, your traffic does not become organic social. The bouncer turns that traffic away, and it just gets dumped into other channels like referral, direct, or the unassigned bucket.
Which is wild. So the big players are fine, right?
Yeah, established players like Facebook.com, m.facebook.com, LinkedIn.com, those are securely on the clipboard.
Yeah.
But the moment a platform shifts its architecture or a new platform emerges, the data just breaks.
Which brings us to two massive exceptions that most reporting guides just skip over entirely. Like, if you have been reporting on these platforms, your numbers are almost certainly wrong. So let's hit the first one, which is YouTube. Because I see marketers throwing YouTube traffic into their social reporting all the time.
Yeah, which, to be fair, used to be completely valid. But GA4 recently rolled out a brand new default channel called organic video. And when they did that, Google quietly moved YouTube, along with platforms like Vimeo, under this new organic video umbrella.
Wait, really? Just moved them?
Yep, completely stripping them out of organic social entirely.
And they sent no memo. They just pulled the rug out. I mean, think about the real-world consequences of that for a second. If you're comparing year-over-year social traffic, and last year YouTube was counted as social, but this year it's quietly being siphoned off into organic video, I mean, your social growth looks like it drove off a cliff.
Oh, yeah. You end up having a very uncomfortable meeting with your leadership team trying to explain a 40% drop in social engagement.
Yikes.
And you're completely unaware that the traffic is actually still there. It's just wearing a different name tag.
Yeah.
And this gets even more complicated with the second huge exception blowing up dashboards right now, which is x.com.
Oh, the strict bouncer strikes again. Because the domain changed from twitter.com to x.com, it just, fails the clipboard check, doesn't it?
It fails the check entirely. The GA4 engine is still running its rules against twitter.com and the t.co shortener. The newer x.com domain has not been integrated into Google's published social source list yet.
That is crazy.
It is. So when a share resolves with x.com as the raw source, it gets rejected from the organic social channel. It just slides right into referral or unassigned.
Wow.
Yeah, it is miscategorized traffic, hiding in plain sight, and a routine audit won't catch it unless you know to look for that specific domain string.
Okay, so if GA4 is rejecting these platforms at the door, where does that traffic actually go? Let's dive into the mechanics of how GA4 sorts rejected or misunderstood traffic. I really want to look at the hierarchy here, because if I am running a paid social campaign, I always assume GA4 has some, sophisticated machine learning algorithm or some back-end API connection with Meta and LinkedIn to detect that a click came from an ad network.
Yeah, well, that is the most common and, frankly, most dangerous misconception in web analytics right now.
Really? No AI?
No, there is absolutely no sophisticated artificial intelligence detecting your ad spend. The sorting mechanism in GA4 is essentially a cascading waterfall, or like a series of security checkpoints. And paid gets checked before organic.
Okay, wait, so how does it know?
Well, the only thing separating a paid click from an organic click is a completely dumb text string called a UTM parameter.
Hold on. So if I spend $100,000 on a Facebook ad, the only thing telling GA4 that those clicks are paid social is that someone manually typed $OM_medium equals paid_social at the end of the URL.
Yes. That tiny fragile text string is the entire mechanism.
That is terrifying.
It really is.
All right.
The browser takes that URL, sees the UTM parameter, and hands it to GA4. GA4's rules engine says, okay, the source is Facebook, which is on my social clipboard, and D the medium says paid social or CPC, so I will put this in the paid bucket.
But what if they mess it up?
Right. If your agency forgets to append that exact text string to the ad link, or if they, misspell it as paid social with a space instead of an underscore, the paid checkpoint fails.
And because it cascades down, it falls right into the organic social bucket.
Exactly. It cascades down to the next rule. GA4 sees a social source, sees no recognized paid medium, and logs your wildly expensive ad campaign as a massive organic viral hit.
Oh my gosh.
And what's fascinating here is catching a missing UTM parameter right at launch takes like 5 seconds. You just fix the URL in the ad manager. But catching it 3 months later?
Good luck.
Yeah, you cannot retroactively rewrite raw data in standard GA4 properties. You basically have to restate a whole quarter's worth of data to your client, explaining that your organic strategy actually failed and your paid strategy was the only thing driving traffic.
That is a brutally painful conversation to have. So the line between paid and organic is literally just human discipline. Now, what about the fallback to referral? Because we mentioned x.com ends up there. How does the referral bucket actually function on like a technical level?
So a referral in GA4 is strictly meant to be visits from other websites or blogs that are non-social and non-search. Technically, this relies on something called an HTTP refer header.
Okay, HTTP refer header.
Yeah. Think of it like a return address on an envelope. When you click a link on a website, your browser sends a request to the destination server, and it includes a header saying, hey, I came from this specific URL.
So when I click a link on a random blog, the blog's URL is the return address.
Yes. GA4 sees that return address, it checks its social clipboard, sees the blog isn't on it, checks its search engine clipboard, sees it isn't there either, so it defaults to calling it a referral.
Oh, okay.
But because GA4 doesn't recognize x.com as social yet, it sees that return address and treats one of the biggest social networks in the world as if it were just a random, obscure blog.
Okay, so we've covered traffic that GA4 mislabels because it's following strict rules about paid text strings or because its VIP clipboard is out of date. But what if there is no return address on the envelope at all? What if the traffic shows up wearing a mask with absolutely no identifying data?
Ooh, now we are stepping into the shadows. We are talking about dark social.
The menace of dark social. I mean, you look at your dashboard, you see a massive spike in traffic right after you posted a brilliant piece of thought leadership. But GA4 has absolutely no idea where it came from. It just throws its hands up.
Yeah, it's totally blind. Dark social is basically marketer shorthand for shares that happen off the open web, in private ecosystems. Think about how human beings actually share content today.
Right.
Someone copies your link, they paste it into a private Slack channel, they drop it into a massive WhatsApp group, or they click a link that opens inside one of those built-in in-app browsers that Instagram or TikTok forces you to use.
Wait, so why does that strip the data? Why can't GA4 see that it came from Slack or WhatsApp?
Because those platforms are closed ecosystems designed for privacy and user retention. They do not pass an HTTP referrer header. They deliberately rip the return address off the envelope before sending the user to your site.
Okay, so what happens to it?
Well, when that click happens, GA4 looks for a source, finds a blank space, and just dumps that session into the direct channel. Or if you had a UTM parameter that was like half broken, it lands in unassigned, which is GA4's true I could match anything bucket.
So what does this all mean? I mean, I am going to push back a little here. Is it really worth the headache to chase this down? If a few DMs don't track properly or someone uses a group chat, why should we care? Shouldn't we just focus our energy on optimizing the main feeds, the public LinkedIn posts and Twitter threads where we can actually see the data clearly and measure the CTR?
Well, it is tempting to only optimize for what you can see, right? But HubSpot released a brilliant insight on this exact dynamic. They pointed out that dark social eats your best content first.
Really? How so?
Think about your own behavior. You don't privately forward links to things you feel lukewarm about.
Oh, wow. Okay, that is a massive paradigm shift because if I send a link to my co-founder in a text message, it's because I know they need to see it right this second. It's highly curated.
Exactly. It represents the absolute highest intent engagement your brand can get. It is an intimate endorsement from one peer to another. If you ignore dark social just because the platform stripped the referrer header, you are literally ignoring your most valuable, highest converting audience just because they prefer privacy.
Man, a click from a private Slack channel is probably worth 100 random, mindless scrolls on a public feed.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we know the funnel is leaking data across referral, direct, and unassigned. We know the bouncer is strict, the UTM strings are fragile, and dark social is masking our best content. It is time to talk about taking back control. Where do we even start patching these pipes?
The very first step is knowing exactly where to look in your GA4 dashboards to run a proper audit. You do not need to build a complex custom exploration just to find the baseline problems.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, just go to Standard Reports, navigate to Reports, then Acquisition, then Traffic Acquisition. This is where your session-level channel data lives.
Okay, reports, acquisition, traffic acquisition. Got it.
But here is the critical mechanical trick most analysts miss. You need to look at two different dimensions simultaneously to spot the leaks. First, you set the primary dimension to Session Default Channel Group. This gives you the macro categories, so organic social sitting as its own line item next to paid social, organic search, and referral.
Okay, so that shows you the broad buckets.
Right, but broad buckets hide the errors. To find the specific platforms that are failing, you need to add a secondary dimension and set it to Session Source/Medium.
Ah, I see.
When you do that, the individual platform entries reveal themselves. You'll see things like facebook.com/referral or instagram.com/referral.
So the session default channel group tells you the category, and the session source/medium tells you the platform. And by layering them, you can instantly see if Facebook is accidentally falling into the referral bucket instead of the social bucket.
Exactly. That is the audit in a nutshell. And once you find those leaks, you have to apply the discipline fixes.
Yeah.
Because fixing organic social is rarely a tooling problem. It is an organizational discipline problem.
Makes sense.
First, you must standardize your UTMs before any link goes live. Every post, every bio link, every shared URL needs a rigid UTM structure. You just cannot leave GA4 guessing, because we know it guesses poorly.
Yeah, really poorly. And what about the X.com problem? I mean, we can't just sit around waiting for Google to magically update their internal VIP clipboard. That could take years.
Yeah, waiting for Google's not a strategy. The technical fix here is to build a custom channel group. You go into the admin settings of GA4 and create an explicit rule that acts like a lens over your data. You tell it, if the source exactly matches X.com, categorize it as organic social. And the beauty of a custom channel group is that it processes data non-destructively. It doesn't permanently alter a single row of your underlying raw data. It simply changes how the report reads and displays that traffic moving forward. And you can even apply it retroactively to historical data in your reports.
It's like handing the strict bouncer a sticky note that says, hey, X.com is with me, let them in. It totally overrides the clipboard.
It does. But You have to recheck those custom channel group rules on a quarterly cadence. Google updates its recognized list on its own mysterious schedule. So a rule you built 6 months ago might become redundant today, or it might be the only thing keeping a brand new emerging platform from landing in the unassigned bucket.
Okay, and I assume we also need to bake that paid versus organic separation into our pre-launch checklists, right? So we don't have that $50,000 typo issue we talked about.
Mandatory checklists. A missing UT_medium equals paid_social tag is the #1 reason ad spend shows up as organic. Do not make UTM checks part of a post-mortem monthly audit. Make it a hard stop before the campaign is ever allowed to go live.
I gotta say, I am looking at all these manual steps, cross-referencing UTM links, digging through source and medium reports, checking custom channel group rules one property at a time, looking for dark social leaks, and thinking this could take a data team days to do thoroughly across multiple accounts.
Oh, catching source and medium mismatches by hand takes days of tedious, mind-numbing spreadsheet work. You are basically hunting for needles in a haystack. Paid social masquerading as organic social landing in referral, and dark social silently piling up in direct.
Which is exactly why the automated fix is such a game changer. This is where GA-Fix comes in to basically replace the manual spreadsheet hunting. Exactly. gfix.ai built dedicated, automated checkpoints specifically for this fragile architecture. Under their traffic and campaign tracking pillar, they have specific checkpoints for traffic source effectiveness and custom channel grouping.
So what does that automated audit actually look like? Walk us through the mechanism of it.
Well, you connect a property, and the system simultaneously audits both your GA4 configuration and your Google Tag Manager setup. It checks your channel grouping rules, it looks for self-referral loops, and it flags traffic sources that are resolving to another consent. And it completes the entire cross-platform audit in under 2 minutes.
Under 2 minutes. I mean, that is a completely different operational reality for an agency or a marketing team. And for anyone worried about security or data privacy, this is an entirely read-only process.
Right.
Google Tag Manager doesn't even require a login because the system just reads the public container. And the GA4 connection stays strictly read-only. Nothing gets stored on their servers. It reads the architecture, checks rules against best practices, outputs the diagnostic report, and is done. Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, it instantly catches if a paid campaign is missing its required medium tag, or if dark social is quietly inflating your direct traffic beyond a normal threshold. It takes the human error out of the equation. Fix the tagging discipline, map the domain exceptions, and your channel reports will finally start matching reality.
We have covered a massive amount of technical ground today. So, to quickly synthesize the 3 pillars of taking back control for everyone listening, first, always tag your paid links with rigid, standardized UTMs before they launch, to keep them out of your organic buckets.
Yep, essential.
Second, map the domain exceptions like x.com using custom channel groups, and check those rules quarterly so you aren't at the mercy of Google's hidden updates. And third, put standardized tracking on every outbound bio link and shareable post to combat the void of dark social, which gives GA4 the data it needs when the return address gets stripped away.
Exactly. Master those 3 pillars and you transform GA4 from a funhouse mirror back into a reliable diagnostic tool.
Before we sign off, I want to leave you all with a final provocative thought to mull over. We talked extensively today about how dark social represents the most intimate, high-value, high-intent sharing our audiences engage in, right? People sending our content privately to their peers because they genuinely care about it. But by its very architectural nature, dark social is designed to evade perfect tracking. It exists entirely in the shadows.
It resists the dashboard completely.
So the question is this. Are we, as marketers and business leaders, risking our absolute best strategies by only optimizing for the data we can clearly see on a screen? If we only chase the clean, trackable numbers, the public clicks, and the visible refers, are we accidentally starving the deep, untrackable relationships that actually drive our businesses forward?
It is the classic trap of modern analytics. The map is not the territory.
It's like relying on a map drawn by a strict cartographer who just changes city names in the middle of the night without telling anyone. You have to know how to read between the lines, you have to know how the map was drawn, and you have to know when it's time to pick up a pen and update the map yourself.
Very well said.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Go audit those UTM strings, update your channel groups, and we will see you on the next deep dive of Fix the Funnel with GA Fix.